All righty. Would you like to introduce yourself, Angela? We could also go through ours too.
No, that's good. I'm Angela Baumbach. Just started my first dissertation class, industrial organizational psychology. What else would you like to know?
Okay, great. So you are PhD?
Yes.
Okay, great.
How long have you been in the program?
Well, I have 6 months left to go. So
Woohoo.
whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I finished up my master's in 9 months, and then I went straight into the PhD program.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a,
So it's been one huge, long education span.
it's better than just doing it on steps, on phases, like it's gonna take a long time. This is encouraging since you're still in your full energy, which I don't suspect. It's not like me. For me, I got my master's 6 years ago in linguistics, and I hadn't thought of just going ahead with my EdD or my PhD, whatever it is. So recently I found that since I got my master's, so I had to get my doctoral. And after I got doctoral, because it's a non-stop journey.
Non-stop, huh?
Yeah.
Angela, are you doing quantitative or qualitative?
Quantitative. Yes, I'm doing, hopefully it'll end up being a straight correlational design so I can just be done with it. I might have to do something a little bit more complicated because there's so many variables that might want to pull out, but I'm hoping not.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing a correlational quantitative study too, but things are like, I have a blur idea of what I'm gonna do. It's just because my topic says a relationship between 2 or 3 variables, so I guess I had to do a correlational quantitative study. But I still don't know how to do it. I still don't know how to choose my assessment tools, my measurements. I'm still waiting for my chair to be assigned for me. So that's maybe, I hope so. Maybe things will get better.
Wow. Yeah, I was freaked out. I didn't expect this class to be the first real dissertation class. And as soon as I found that out, because I knew all the challenges that a whole bunch of other people were having, and it was key for them to make sure that they had the right chair and the right dissertation team. And if it wasn't, then this one guy, a horror story, took him 6 years to get his PhD done. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So as soon as I found that out, I started researching who my chair was because I couldn't afford to do that emotionally or time-wise. So I made sure that I knew who it was. And then I was just randomly talking to one of my old professors that a whole bunch of other people were saying, hey, listen, you need to go back and talk to her because she's doing some stuff out in the world. And they said, talk to her. And I did. And she said, oh, I'm at GCU. Let me just be your information chair. And I was like, cool. So I got it all lined up and I'm extremely happy. I've been able to meet with my chair every single week and just constantly ask him questions. I have access to any source of just texting him. He says, just text me. I mean, it's been so nice to be able to have somebody so supportive. So I'm hoping that's going to be the same for many of you too. So
I hope so. I hope so.
Angela, what is your topic?
My topic is going to be how people. It was suggested to make sure to do volunteers. So I'm going to go into a volunteer organization and go find how their perception of the organization is going to affect their motivation to enter the organization and stay with the organization. So it's motivational analysis. I already have my 2 tools that have been very well accepted inside of just about every single study that I've said, that I've read through, and I'm just making it super simple, correlating the two different the tools and doing it in a particular organization with volunteers, which has not been done often. So awesome.
Angela, I'm sorry, but I just need to know because the word perception, just for me, it means qualitative. So I just need to know from you how you I know it's a correlational because there's a relationship between the perception of the volunteers and their motivation.
Sure.
So you basically have two variables.
I have two tools that I'm using that have already been analyzed and validated. And I'm using those two tools together to gauge the perception of the population, and then also do another tool to engage to find out what their motivation is, and then correlate those two main effects.
So one of your tools will output a perception that someone has, whether it be negative, positive. Okay. And I see what you were talking about, Ayad, is like you hear perception and automatically you think qualitative, but you can specify, like you can go in there, like say you have literature that proves that individuals in this population have this perception, then you can test that perception on like a measurement and assume that is one of their selections already. And then it becomes a quantitative study rather than exploring.
You're gonna group. So what you mean, motivation can be grouped into positive, negative, or neutral maybe. I mean, in this way, it's not necessarily to be positive or negative or.
The motivation is whether or not I'll return, whether or not I'm going to stay, whether or not I'm. So it's based on that, and so it's the intention to leave of the motivational scales, and then with the perception, it'll be based on whether or not they feel that the organization is. Are they? There are only 4 different places for the perception to be, which is: are they a really helping organization? Are they a very structured organization? What's the perception of the organization? So yes, it'll be that tool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided before this conference, we decided that we're going to talk about a specific topic, but I found myself out of this circle, so I would prefer, Raquel, that just we leave it as it is. We leave it just general. We leave it open-ended. So whatever issues that they have, because I would think that this would be more beneficial to everybody here. What do you think?
I think that every week we have different people, and different people come in and this is I'm me appealing to you guys and what I've noticed, and that different people and groups have different natures. And so sometimes it is led towards a certain topic and sometimes it's not. Sometimes maybe there's not enough people, or maybe there's too many people to talk about it. Right. So I think that maybe if we say, hey, we could talk about this, and if it goes that way, it goes that way. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But as long as we're all getting what we need out of it. Does that sound okay with everybody?
Yeah. For me, yes.
I also had the idea to put out a survey because I want everybody to get something out of it. So putting out an anonymous survey and seeing what people want or what they don't want, this will be our third call, and seeing how people feel about it in these amount of calls. So that's what I plan to do. But.
I mean, if it is helpful or not, what do you think we could change in order just to meet the expectations of everybody?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think that it's important, once again, to keep things open and don't come too structured. Okay. I really think that, if people have specific questions, that, they feel, oh, okay, I'm going to go on this week so I can ask my question. Whereas if we had specific topics, like when you guys said 10 strategic points or alignment, almost didn't come because I'm like, okay, well, I don't have anything about alignment, but
you're right.
Okay, well, let me go in case maybe I can help somebody else,
yeah.
Type thing. So I definitely think that it needs to, keep it free flowing, not too structured. We don't want not too structured. I understand the structure because we only have a limited amount of time, but also definitely, keep it. I think we should just keep it open and just say, hey, is there anything specific that, people want to talk about? Because, if you come out and say, well, we're going to be talking about this, that may turn some people off.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
I agree.
We'll see.
What, Angela, what motivated you to come? You're on the blast today. I'm sorry, because you're like,
no, it's cool. I'm good. I'm the new kid. Everybody wants what I made.
Yeah. So what were you looking for in a group? Like, what made you decide, hey, I think I'm going to do that?
Connection, camaraderie.
Okay.
Basically all that social stuff. The topic, the group has been great already. I mean, it's been, I was the one burning the midnight oil. I had a question and all of a sudden I posted it and I got a whole bunch of responses, and that just makes me think that this is the place for me to be. So spending my time in a more intimate group, I think, is extremely valuable. I have so many more questions to ask the world, but I'm also here to make sure that I bring value to anything that I've learned. Definitely want to make sure I'm passing it on. And I'm also trying to stay active in the DC, because there are a lot of people that are lost already and they haven't even started. I'm like, oh, girl, let me talk to you. Come here.
I'm actually the youngest one out of the program. I haven't even started my dissertation classes yet. So everybody's telling me these things that are forthcoming, and it's given me some idea of what to expect. And actually, like I was telling Ayad earlier, you guys have helped me already so much, like in my classes. It's great.
I really wish I had this when I first started, because there are a lot of things that were very frustrating along the way and nobody had the answers for, including I am not a math girl. I failed everything. And I did really, really well in my statistical analysis classes. The IO program is crazy when it comes to that. And the only reason why I did so well is because I yelled and I screamed at everybody because they told me that there was no tutor. And when I first signed up and I said, I need a tutor, they said, sorry, there's not a tutor. And I said, that's not what you told me. Yeah. And and that people are going through that is just pathetic. So yeah, I made sure that I'm trying to tell as many people as possible, there is help. It's there. You just need to find it. And I've got a direction to go. So yeah, that was a really hard pull. And plus my friend was dying at the same time, same class. It was just a bad experience. bad. So anyway.
That's great. Cool. I'm here for the social aspect. And if I have a question here and there, because I found that online programs can be extremely isolating. And I was surprised that Ayad and I talked about this, our first one, that our teachers don't offer something like this, or or this isn't really an option. And then all of a sudden, boom, you have your Zoom call to defend your dissertation. There was no practice on how to talk, virtually. You meet with your methodologists and stuff like that, but they should be integrating these things like early on in the program so that people know what they're getting into. And like I said, I'm not someone who talks a lot in my classroom, like in the in-classroom setting. So when I have a question, it's nice to just be able to kind of go somewhere else and ask the question, So I love this group already. You guys are awesome.
No, you'll find that once you get to the dissertation classes, you will be using Zoom more often, because your chair is supposed to have at least 2 Zoom sessions with you over the 8-week period. Mm-hmm. Supposed to.
Okay, now that's something that we need to talk about there.
They're supposed to, I hold them, mine, if I need it more, I said, look, I need to have a Zoom, because email is fine for some, but sometimes communication get lost in emails. I'm the type that I like to talk it out. Let me talk it out, and I might answer my own questions, but that freaking going back and forth on email, it's not good for me sometimes. So I would encourage you, once you get to that point, to hold them accountable. They're supposed to do those 2 Zooms. If you need more, then ask for it.
Are you
that's
finding
the big thing, closed mouth?
Anne, are you finding that it's been difficult to get to your to actually have those conversations with your chair? Is that to have that open interaction communication with them?
No, just sometimes I think that my chair, sometimes she may prefer emailing, which is fine. But when my question don't get answered after going back and forth, then maybe I'm not expressing myself correctly in email. Yeah. So sometimes I'll ask her, okay, can I just call you on the phone, or can we just set up a Zoom? So no, she's been very very responsive, with the emails and stuff like that. But, it's a personal thing. Sometimes I just need that extra, extra interaction than an email can give.
Okay. So you're getting the support you need from your chair then.
Mallory's here on an iPhone. Hello, Mallory. Maybe not.
Can you hear us? I see the thing, but
I can see it. Okay, so Anne, one question, please. Is it up to you to decide the number of the Zoom calls that you will have with your chair, or sometimes your chair has the right to say, no, I don't have time, I don't have enough time to do it?
Well, they're required. Once you get to the dissertation stage, it says that, in the syllabus, and they're required to have 2. So I haven't, had the experience where if I want an additional one, my chair outright said no. She, she might say, well, if I present a date, hey, are you available on Wednesday? She may come back and be like, well, no, I'm not, I'm busy. Saturday's better than, just hooking up our schedules.
Collaborating.
So she hasn't outright came out and said no, but it does depend on her availability,
Do you feel that your chair is responsive concerning this issue? Do you feel that she is willing to help really, or just because she has to?
No, I feel like she's willing to help, but I'm the type too. I ask I'm not afraid to ask a lot of questions. Some people beat their head and complain.
Okay, so there's one issue on. There's one issue on. It just came to my mind. If you just allow me to do it, in other parts of the world, not in the U.S., the success of the students, of whether it was like a PhD or master students, would reflect the success of the chair. So the chair would do his or her best in order for the dissertation to be as good as it should be. That's why you find that always chairs help their students. They follow up with their students because, as I tell, the quality of the dissertation would reflect how successful the chair is. How does that apply to our chairs here at GCU?
Well, I agree. I can only speak for mine. I know people have nightmares with their chairs, so it really depends on, the situation. But you have to remember, too, that your chair is not going to, just because you have a question, they may not give you a direct answer. They're not going to hold your hand and say, okay, well, do this or do that. They may throw something out there and you still have to do the research to figure it out.
Angela, what do you think causes a dissatisfaction between the chair and the chairee? What do you think?
Okay, so I did a whole bunch of interviews with a whole bunch of people, even from different universities, and it was consistently that the chairs were apathetic. So any sort of apathy that a chair might have was really reflecting on the relationship. There was just not being supportive, and it was clear right off the bat. And if the student, lack of a better term, the was not proactive in getting that chair replaced immediately and screaming and hollering immediately and getting to the right people, then it just got worse. It never got better. So once you get a chair that has a really low synergy with you, then it's just not a good match. It's just not. So, and a lot of people do need a little bit more help, or they need something else. Not sure exactly what the hang up was, because I didn't hear it from the chair's perspective, but it was clear from the beginning in every single case. Now, this one guy ended up with something like 6 chairs and that was that every single one of the chairs said, no, you didn't do anything right the last time, do it this way. And it was never right. And then by the time they got another chair, it was never right. And having 6 chairs was devastating for him. So yeah, that's overall, as soon as you find out a chair does not work for you, you got to figure a strategy to get rid of that chair and to find something else. And I've even heard people say, and I think it was probably a good in the end that some people actually said this, as soon as you find out that your chair doesn't work, get through the class, drop it, wait, and get another chair. just do it. And if it still doesn't work, there's actually a couple of, if you go up the chain and you're not getting any results, there's an external agency to call that has authority over the organization so that you can actually get some movement in the direction that you need to go. So
that's great to know. That's really great to know.
Yeah, don't wait.
I'm just curious to know, what did that guy end up doing? The one that has.
It took him 6 years. It took him 6 long, painful years. He said he probably wrote the equivalent of 4 dissertations in the process to equal out his one. And he and he had to take breaks in between. He said it was just
a nightmare.
It was just horrific experience for him. But he did do it. I talked to him when he just got his PhD. So that's when I connected with him, and he was just like, I finally did it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. We kind of talked about that last call about, I think I asked the question, like, what do you do if you don't get along or your methodologies aren't in line with the belief systems of your chair? Like, can you get another chair? I think that was something that was brought up the last time.
It depends on the university. I don't know what you guys talked about, but based on what it was that I found out, it depends on the university. And I have a little guy, and she wants to try it, but she also wants to be on my neck. So she knows I'm here. Anyway, so yeah, what I've heard with GCU is that it can be really, really difficult, but you can actually drop. So it's like the class right before you actually get into the official dissertation. If you decide to stop that class and jump into the next one, then your chair is going to change. No, we're not going to do that. And just if you're not getting along, don't do it. So you can request, but if it doesn't happen, then try another strategy and then keep working your way up the chain. So anyway.
Ayad, you haven't heard from a chair at all? You're waiting?
No, not yet. I just have decided my content expert. I was really planning to get one out overseas, a content expert, and then I just give them his resume and everything, but they just declined it because they said, that's silly. They said, the only reason why we declined him is just because we need to offer him a check, and he does have to have a U.S. bank account. And if you bring someone overseas, he will not be able to get this account. So how would we just pay him? I said this is not a good reason.
Yeah.
So
send him a check in the mail.
That doesn't work. That was what they said. Anyway, I just chose one out of the list that was provided by GCU. Actually, I contacted like 3, and I got a response from all of them. And I was like embarrassed just to tell them I contact. But looking at their publications, looking at their specialization, their field of expertise, I just chose one. And I'm waiting for my chair to get signed so that I just give them the paperwork that are necessary to be signed.
Now, are these people that you knew, like that were your teachers, or content chairs, your chairs, your teachers, or are they people that you've never met before?
I have never met before, but I've just found their names out on the list that is on the DC network.
Okay.
Because there is a whole list of content experts in the DC network, and in the front of every instructor, it says what is he or she interested in doing. So I just found one who's specialized in adult education, since I'm doing my dissertation on adult ESL learners. And I just emailed him, and she responded to me. She called me back like 2 hours later, and I told her the main points of my work, and she seems interested. She said, just wait until you get a chair, and then there's a form that's called D10 that I have to enter her information, and then GCU will contact her. She'll get approved.
There's also one more caveat. They exclude anybody that resides in California.
What? That's me. Damn.
Yeah, because
you cannot have
requirements, yeah.
Yeah, one of the
But
requirements is
like,
you can't have a.
Why? Why?
Because our employment laws suck.
Yeah.
you know that you got to know that employment here is horrific.
Actually, I don't, because to be honest with you guys, I have not yet started a career, so I've basically been an ice cream scooper, and like, that's about it.
So I get to go visit you in ice cream land. You're in Riverside, right?
Well, Riverside. Back in the day. No, now I actually practice marriage and family therapy, and I basically work for myself. So I'm not in mainstream, the job market. So.
Okay, one more question for Angela.
I've got organizations, and employment sucks here. It's horrible.
Have you guys ever had a break?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Break from school?
I'm planning to have one. Have you ever had a break from your courses, like 2 weeks or 1 month?
No, just the normal Christmas break. That's it. And Christmas.
I haven't either, and I'm planning to get one, but then I say no. I want to graduate as soon as possible.
Well, that's fun. I just took my first break. That's because once I got I was waiting on IRB, but I didn't want to. While I was collecting my data, I didn't want to be paying for a class. So I took a break. So I was fortunate enough to, within those 8 weeks, I got IRB approval. I got my data collection completed and started Chapter 4. So I've had one break. So you're authorized what they consider 2 leave of absences a year. If one leave of absence is over 8 weeks, if it's longer than 3 months, you're in danger of getting a new chair. So if you decide to take a break, do not make it longer than 3 months. Mine was only 8 weeks.
Or maybe I will get only 1 month.
Yeah, that's actually a really good strategy. I like that.
It's a good strategy.
Why you're just sitting around? Why pay for that class if I'm collecting data? So it just worked out perfect. And a friend of mine, she did the same thing, and it's working. She's actually on break now, and she's collecting her data. I think by the time she don't come back to class to the end of November, so she'll probably have her data done. Well, she will have her data done. She'll probably have Chapter 4 and stuff done before she re-enrolls back in the class. So it worked out perfect, the timing. So I would say, if you need a break for personal reasons, to take it, but I would definitely look at that timing as you get further along, to save money, when you get to the point where you're waiting on, so you have to be in class if you're at AQR. But once you have AQR approval, and you have to have submitted your stuff to IRB. So once it's submitted to IRB, you can go on break, you don't have to be enrolled in class. But, there's certain points that you have to be in class, and there's certain points that you don't have to be in class. So I was just fortunate that the timing worked out.
And who informs you about the approval of the IRB and the AQR? Your chair?
Well, no, the AQR is different. So once your proposal is approved by your whole committee, your your chair submits it to AQR. And then you'll get an email saying, hey, your chair has been assigned. They'll tell you who that person is via the DC network. You'll get a message on your LDP page. So that's a different conversation. So you'll get a message and then about AQR. So everything from then on for your proposal, your AQR works with your chair. So if they kick it back, they're going to send it to your chair, and then your chair will send it to you. So once you get all of that approved, and then you work with your chair to submit your stuff to IRB. And then once again, IRB is a conversation between, you'll get the emails. If they kick it back from, there's different levels of IRB. So it's just a bunch of emails back and forth. So it's just different.
Would they use your personal email that you provided or your GCU email? Because I've never checked my GCU email.
Well, I always put, and I think IRB, it tells you have to put your GCU email. But what I do on my GCU email, I have it forwarded automatic to my personal email.
Yeah.
So I never check. You can set it up and go in there. I think it's an Outlook. You can set it up so that any emails that come to your GCU account, it automatically forwards it to my Gmail account. So I don't have to worry about that GCU account.
That's another good idea.
Yeah, you can call your student advisor and they should be able to tell you where to go to get that. They should have set you up right in the beginning. The person that signed me up automatically had me do that.
I did that after the fact, but it's done. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do I have to wait until the first course to start until I get my chair assigned, or it should be assigned before the time? I mean, at least because right now I've been told that on November 10th I'll start my first dissertation class.
So your instructor for that class is your chair.
Okay. Would you bear me a second? I'm just browsing mine. So the next my next class is, I'm sorry, but I just want to make sure. Okay. It's in 2 weeks. It's called RES 885, which is developing the research proposal. Is that where I get my chair assigned?
In the proposal class, I can't remember. I think
it's called developing the research proposal. So is that the first course where I get my chair assigned?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it is, but double check because it's been so long. But if I think it's that proposal class, that's where you get your yes. That is where you get your chair. So your instructor for that class is going to be your chair.
So we have about 5 minutes left in this call. Do we want to return?
Or if you don't mind.
Okay. I can only start another call when we end this one. So if we want to, then I'll start it right away, or we can start the other one right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, I just got my chair assigned. It's called Irene Chen. Anybody knows?
No.
Angela.
Never heard that name.
So she's probably my chair because she's the instructor for the next course, which is developing the research proposal.
So she's going to be your chair.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm freaking out.
It is.
If I'm not mistaken, make sure nothing's changed. But if I remember, because in the proposal class,
it's really.
I need to do like a thorough research about her just to know from now if she's good enough or if I'm good enough just to work with her.
Don't worry about it. I mean, you're starting to worry about stuff you have no control over. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Well, yeah, I will have control over. I will have, as you said, I will have to request a change if she is not.
Yeah, but if you go in there thinking negatively, then you might start, looking for stuff. I think so whatever she says from here on out, that's really, what matters. Not what you learned before or any of that type stuff. Your chair is your go-to person.
Okay, so Raquel, would you
hopefully you got to do
the next one?
Yes, I'll do that right now. I'll send you guys an email.
Okay, thank you.